GPT-5 Codex. This is OpenAI's new coding model, building upon the recent relaunch of GPT-5, and it's extremely impressive. GPT-5 already from a coding standpoint performed well, but this GPT-5 Codex model performs exceptionally well. It's really good at executing on tasks. The kind of common thought right now is that GPT-5 is really great for planning out your tasks, but then GPT-5 Codex is great for carrying out the tasks. And not only that, it can actually run for up to 7 hours. And so I've now had an opportunity to test out GPT-5 Codex, and the results I've gotten have been nothing short of exceptional. In this video, I want to just kind of show the workflow that I went through and also just some of the pros of being able to use a model like this from a pricing standpoint and then also from a flexibility standpoint. So, getting right into it, what I want to talk about first is how flexible the model is. So, Codex actually comes with your $20 a month ChatGPT subscription. You can also use GPT-5 Pro, which is a $200 a month subscription. I'm using Codex within the $20 a month subscription. So if you sign on to ChatGPT over on the left side and click on Codex, it'll actually take you to an area where you can use this coding model. Now, they give you three options. You can run it within your terminal. That's the CLI. You can run it within one of the IDEs like Cursor or Windsurf, VS Code. And you can also enable code review. So you can have it review your code in a very similar way to, if you watched my last video, you can get Code Rabbit to review your code. And what's more is that when you're using ChatGPT, you're using this in the cloud. So this is something that can run Codex, that is, can run in the cloud, but you can also run it locally on your computers. So you have that flexibility. And because there is that option to run it in the cloud, let's say you open it up within Cursor, for example, which I'll show you shortly, you can actually choose whether you want to run it locally here on your computer within Cursor, whether you want to run it in the cloud. And if you run it in the cloud, then you can have a task that's being carried out, go off and do something else in the meantime, and it'll still get taken care of because it's not actually happening, directly on your machine. And so that flexibility is just something that's very nice to have. So the example that I did, the other week, I met a guy who talked about building an iPhone app directly with Apple's Kit. And typically when I'm building mobile apps, I'll use a platform like Expo and React Native, which is a framework that uses JavaScript in order to build mobile apps. And so that's typically what I'm doing. And it's then able to sort of still apply the properties that you need in order to launch an iOS app. And I never really thought about actually just using Swift, which is the code that you use to build iOS apps. And the framework for iOS apps is SwiftUI. And so I said, well, let me take an opportunity to try that out while testing out this Codex model, the GPT-5 Codex model. So I went ahead and did that. I opened up a project within Xcode. I created a project for a meditation app called Still App, and I literally just set it up within Cursor. And I then installed the Codex plugin, so you can actually install Codex within Cursor in the very same way that you have the composer, the Cursor composer. You can use the Codex, it's basically like a Codex composer, and that'll allow you to now code with these different models. So you have GPT-5, minimal, low, medium, high. High, of course, is the reasoning model. It thinks for longer, but also takes longer to respond. And then minimal and low respond very quickly. And then you have the GPT-5 Codex, low, medium, high, which I just mentioned is really good for that execution. So I had it set up the project. And I was just very impressed with how few bugs and mistakes that were made along the way. And again, just the flexibility that it has. From the agent standpoint, you have this chat for planning. You have the agent, which will run files for you, and then you have the agent full access, which can access the internet and basically gives you full access to your workspace. And so this is what it came up with here, the Still app, and you can use these different sort of meditation sessions within the settings. You can have the chime play in the beginning and end. You have different sorts of background music that I downloaded from the internet, and it was like pretty quick build. And I also just really love the interface. It has that kind of glassmorphic feel, but more than anything, it was how quickly I was able to get this running. And this really didn't take all that much work. And on top of that, again, this is within the OpenAI ChatGPT subscription. So for $20 a month, I'm able to code. Whereas right now, when I'm using Cursor, I was using Cursor yesterday to work on some polishing my mobile app, Dropcard, which is a contact management app. I can actually show you what my current pricing is on Cursor right now. So the usage, I've spent $50 so far this month on Cursor. And this actually, I believe, is even $50 on top of, I've literally paid $80 in September for Cursor, and I'm about to pay another $50. That's $130 that 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I was only spending 24. So it's extremely cost prohibitive now. Whereas with this Codex model, it's just the $20 for ChatGPT. I don't know how much they rate limit you. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. If I continue using it and then it just stops me and says I can't use it for another, X number of days or hours, then I'll have to, deal with that when I get there. But this makes me never want to use the obviously the Cursor's Composer again. There's still reasons for it. Like right now, if I am using Expo, running through Expo, I'm just already kind of used to that model and kind of like how to spin up the application. And so I will continue to use Cursor in some way or form, but just the pricing for Codex versus Cursor, and which shows just the direction all of this is headed in. A year from now, it's not going to cost a lot to code with AI, given everything that will come after this. And then also, I mean, to mention, Replit last week launched their Agent 3, which can code for up to 200 minutes. And so the fact that this can run for 7 hours, I mean, OpenAI is really just coming swinging back at anything that happens. But yeah, so this is the Codex GPT-5 Codex. It works extremely well. And also to mention, if you are someone interested in building mobile apps, I highly recommend trying to set it up with Xcode. You literally just open up a new project in Xcode, and then wherever that project folder gets created. So I created the folder on my desktop. You could then, when you go into Cursor, literally just open up that folder from the desktop, and it'll be connected. And it makes it a hell of a lot easier for actually going about and testing out the app now, because you don't have to wait for a new Expo build every single time you want to test it. And you also don't have to connect the Expo with the Xcode. So it's a lot more straightforward. And typically the mobile apps I've been doing have been iPhone apps. Whether or not I would be launching them on Android in the future. So I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but I don't see a lot of people speaking about just building iOS apps directly with Swift or SwiftUI. So just something to take a look at. But that's it. Codex, GPT-5 Codex, extremely impressed. We'll see what these guys have in store as we continue along. But that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.